phase 6 of how I would rank a stump grinder in Portland, Oregon. So now on our page, on our homepage, we've got all of our trust signals. We're starting to get a whole bunch of reviews on here. We're using the review icons from the Google Business Review profiles so that people can see that these are actually real people leaving these reviews. We're not just making them up, right? We're starting to list, hey, these are the certifications we have. We're licensed and bonded. We're insured. How many jobs we've done. We're just giving all of these conversion rate optimizations and also these trust signals, not only to the people that visit the site, but also to Google, because Google is going to come and read this like, oh, so they do cleanup, they do haul off, they have same day quotes, right? Now we're going to start getting into adding more images, right? Displaying what we do, the service we offer. We're also going to have this so that people know, okay, what do I need to do to get my stump ground? Why people call us. This is all to convert, right? We're talking about their pain points. When I go and I start a new service or a new business category I haven't worked in before, what I will do is I will go and data mine a couple hundred, maybe to like 2,000 reviews. And from this review data that I get off of Google Business Profiles, what I can do is I can identify the pain points that people experience with other providers for this service. From this, I know what copy I need to put on the site to convert people, because I've already gone through these 2,000 reviews and I already have an understanding of what is their pain points, right? They hate when people leave a mess in their yard, which makes sense, right? I wouldn't want to mess in my lawn. They also commonly complain about people not showing up on time, getting ghosted, right? And so these are the pain points we want to address on our page. So for when the person comes and views it, they convert and they purchase our service. So then again, we're also going to start on the site. We're going to start including more images, right? So now we have an image of someone grinding a stump. This link takes us to our services page. Then for our locations, our areas served, right? We're going to start using more appropriate photos that identify them. These all are going to link to our location pages. We're also going to start including photos of the owner, Marcus Aurelius. We're going to include a little short little description, why you started. Now we're also going to include the reviews, right? On this page, we are able to easily get 3,400 words, but when you come and look at it, there's really not that much, and that's because I like to use the structure of placing a lot of the content below the fold. I don't want to remove the experience of my customer on the page because I want to SEO optimize it. I am going to put it below the fold. I'm going to put it in areas that customers are less likely to frequent, like the FAQ. I can go in here and I can add maybe like 8 more FAQ questions that will address their questions, but also at the same time, I can get verbose in my response to the question so that I can hit my word count on page. I can hit my keyword density on page. I can hit my bolded terms on page. As you notice when we go through these reviews, what you can see is I've done just that, right? I've got stump grinding bolded. I've got bolded. And these are all factors that will help me rank. And then also I have all these images of previous work done. So if someone does take the time and scroll through all these reviews, they're going to see these previous jobs I've done. What I also like to do because of this is now that I have all these images from all these reviews, I also have the review icons that people left reviews on my profile, right? I can then go grab that image and then I can also put alt text around that image and get more content, more keywords, more everything on page in relation to the service that I offer and in the areas that I offer it, right? So as we can see here, I just got maybe like 300 free words on page just because I did alt text on those icon photos. Then on the photos that I have for my location pages or my services, what we can see here is I can get more content. These are actually a little light. I would probably get like another 2 or 3 more sentences in here being more and more descriptive of the photo, right? But now when we start to get down here to the photos left by other people, I can start referencing them, right? A photo from Randy showing the tree stump we grounded in this area, right? We can start talking about our services with these photos in the alt text, getting more of that keyword in on our pages, getting that keyword density up, and not only that, just getting more and more content, more information on the page. Look at all this free word count I get in my alt text because I took the time and I went and I just put alt text on my images, and because of the way I structure my pages, I have it such that all of it is just knocked out easily, right? Now I have this template, or this card, I like to call it, this card of this reviews in this scrollable box that I can have all of this content in, and I can reuse this across my site. Even on other pages, if I want to target a certain word, change the alt text to match that keyword I'm trying to target. And it'll become all more relevant and help me rank because I have all of this information on the page. Now we're starting to get into a serious level of advanced schema. So when people make this assertion that schema doesn't help you rank, it's 100% because it does not look like this. This is how Google reads my page. Google understands the relations between my page because I've taken the time to explain everything that is occurring on my website. And when we go and look at this schema, what I do is I will include these URLs that link to these Wikipedia pages that Google already knows everything about. I'm also going to link to these other resources that Google knows about that it uses to develop its understanding of a service or a product. So look at this. All of this information is free because I went and took the time to link to it. And I don't have to put this on my page, but because I linked to it, I instantly get all of that information that is on that page, and that is all relevant to the thing that I'm offering, the thing that I'm doing. So what we can see here is because Wikipedia has a stump grinder, a tree care, arboriculture, I don't know, I'm butchering that. Yeah, it's a landscaping, like these entities, right? I can link to them and get all of that content and all of that information Google already knows about, and Google knows that I'm about that thing instantly without me having to put it on my page. And this is just another way to get more and more content, more and more relevance, more and more authority because I'm linking out to these things Google already knows a ton about, and I'm linking exactly to those sources of information. So then also we're going to go through, I've got my telephone, I've got my email, we're doing our price range. We're also going to start doing some image schema. This is just another way of me getting more and more information, more of my keywords, my keyword variations, LSI, entities on page. So we can see here, got a description. We're also going to tell it what currencies we take, what payments we accept, the language we know. We're also going to link to our map for sure, our address. We're going to get geolocations, contact points, how to contact us. Then we're going to go into our area served. Same thing as before. We're going to link to these Wikipedia pages that Google already knows about so it can relate those to us. So we serve the area of Oregon. We're going to have a short description of Oregon. We're going to have a URL to our service area. And then we're also going to use these identifiers, these property values, this Google machine ID. This knowledge ID is going to tell it Google, because Google has this internally, right? And so we're going to specifically target that, address it by using this property ID. Like, hey, this thing we're saying is this thing you already know about. That, and then they identify that knowledge base or that knowledge point with these machine IDs. And this is what we're doing in our schema is we're linking to all of this. We got our area served, identifier, property value, machine ID, knowledge graph ID, right? All of these cities, Google has these specific identifiers, how it categorizes all of this information internally, and we're going to link directly to that so that it gets a better understanding of what we do, where we serve. So we're just going to keep going through here. every city. We're going to have all of these links to these external sources. Next, we're going to move into the knows about. This is my favorite because we're literally telling Google, hey, these are the things that we know about. We're going to give it a description, and we can get pretty verbose in here. Not only that, but then we're also going to link to it again via these URL links to these Wikipedia pages and these Wikidata pages, because these are all of these knowledge bases that Google already has, and we're going to link to them and be like, hey, we know about this thing. Oh, and Google's gonna be like, oh, okay, so this page I have with all this information, cool, you know about all these things. I know about all these things too. We're gonna relate these things to you now. Boom, right here, right? Property value, now a Google machine ID, we got a value, and we're just gonna keep going. So here, stump grinding, tree stump, tree care, arboriculture, I'm butchering that, arborists, roots, right? Roots of a tree, wood chips, mulch, land clearing, pruning, lawn, right? These are all things we know about. These are all things that we deal with daily, right? And in all of our, when we ever go to provide our services, right? Because most of the time tree stumps are in lawns, okay? So now I want to show you real quick. If we were to look at stump on our page, we have 511 instances of the word stump on our page. There is no way Google's not going to read this page and know that this page is about stumps, okay? Now, we're also going to do the other variations of our keyword, or the top level keyword we're trying to target, stump grinding. We have it 62 times on our page. And this is so Google has an exact understanding of what we offer and the keyword we're trying to target and to rank us for, right? So we're going to go back to the schema, and we can see that it also has an offer catalog. So in this offer catalog, this is what we're telling Google, hey, these are the things that we offer, right? For right now, we're only targeting a few keywords, right? The top level is stump grinding. We're going to have a little description about this. We also have a link to our URL. We're telling, hey, Google, this website offers this service at this URL. Here's a little short description about it. And then here's where you need to go to get more information about it. Area served. Then we also have a stump removal, right? What we can also do is with our services, we can include these variations of the top level, right? So we can do stump removal, tree stump removal, tree stump grinding, stump grinding. We can have this so that we can get more information on these pages. And then we also have this URL link to those service pages. So we got stump removal, root grinding, we got all this information. Now, because I put Marcus Aurelius as the founder, every time I read this, I find it hilarious. So in this founder schema, we got the name, given name, family name, additional name, right? We got all this different information about the owner, the founder. We got the job title, who he works for. We got a image of him, right? Then we have a URL, a little about on the about page. So we have a URL link to that. We've got his email, phone number. And then we have this ginormous verbose description. And then we also have a disambiguating description. This is probably like 2 paragraphs of content in each of these on the page, and only Google sees this. This is not taking away from the customer's experience. This is just putting more information for Google to get a better understanding of what the owner knows about what he does. It's a description of the owner, right? Then we can move into the knows about. He knows about stump grinding. Here's a verbose description of the thing he knows about. Here's the URL link to all of this Wikidata and Wikipedia information you know about, and you can relate that to me. And then we're also going to do the Google machine ID. Then he knows about tree stumps. He knows about tree care. He knows about arboriculture. He knows about being an arborist. He knows about roots. He knows about pruning. He knows about trees. He knows about canopies, ornamental trees, urban forest, right? Timber, tree planting, wood chips, mulch, soil, land clearing, landscaping, chainsaw, power tools. He knows about power tools because he uses a giant stump grinder to grind the stumps, right? Building all of this information, and then we'll go back to the visual. So this will kind of tie it together so it makes more sense. This is basically the knowledge graph that we're trying to build for Google, so Google has a total coverage of who we are, what we're about, what we do, where we serve, what services we provide. I basically want my schema to be a second website. I want Google to never have to even crawl my pages because I have so much schema that it gets the absolute deep understanding it requires to rank me. I actually still want Google to crawl my pages, but I'm just to make it make sense of why we put so much there, right? So Marcus Aurelius knows about hand tools. He knows about tools, heavy equipment, right? The stump grinders are heavy equipment. He knows about excavators, feller buncher, right? Forest management. We got all these other things that he knows about, and we're just getting more and more information on the page. We also got his same as to his personal profiles. We got some awards that he's won, right? The alumni he's a member of. He's got all these credentials, and so Marcus Aurelius, just has all of this information in relation to about him. So then Google can just go and read this in their own language that they've all put together and get a better, instant, deep understanding of who this person is. Right? He's got some awards. We've got the aggregate rating, and then we've got some review schema on here. And then at the bottom, a little bit of FAQ. Okay, so we're gonna move in the service area, blog, about, and then we're also gonna come down here a little bit. Then when we get to this point, right, we've got our email listed. We've got our address listed in the footer. We got our hours. We have our license, bonded, and insured across the page, getting those trust signals, authority signals on page. Then we also have all of our licensing, right? We want to reference the licensing numbers that we have to signal to Google, hey, we are licensed. Here's our licensing numbers so you understand, and just gives more and more trust signals to Google to have an understanding, hey, we're a legit business. What I like to do is I like to have a HTML sitemap, and then also I like to have a XML sitemap. I like to have an HTML sitemap in addition to a regular XML sitemap. This is just for Google to go to get all of the possible URLs all the URLs that we have on page. Okay, this is phase 6. So then now we're going to start going to our hub pages, get a total bit of understanding of what is going on. So we got all of these trust signals, right? Then we have our main service. We've got our Google Maps embed again, right? Having all these pages all interlinked to that. So this is the main page that we want to rank. This is our money page. Normally I don't want the home page to rank. I want this page to rank. So when we come to it, we can see we got 3,900 words. We can see our H1 structures. We've got those H4s, those H5s, those H6 tags. A lot of the times with these AI website builders, they don't use the H4, H5, H6. And so what's coming to fruition is that you can get 6 free ranking factors just by using these H4, H5, H6s. Because so uncommonly used, we can use them, which is a ranking factor. And then not only that, we can put keywords or keyword variations into them, which then again are another ranking factor. So then we'll go down here and we'll see that we got those bolded terms, some keywords. We've also got these listicles, which is a ranking factor. We've got all this information. We start to get more images on this page, right? So on these images, we're starting to add these alt text. In my review icons, I'm adding alt text on those images of those people in there, right? Get more keywords on the page, get more information on the page. All of these service photos we can see here. I've got even more content, just more and more content, more and more words, more and more keywords. We got a photo of the owner, Marcus Aurelius. We got a little short description, and how he's bonded. Then we've got all this reviews, right? We got all this review content. Then now we're going to go, and this is our locations hub page. We got all these images. We've got a little bit more information of like the neighborhoods that are served in these areas, right? We got these nice little images that represent those areas. We've got our Google Maps embedding again. And then also for these images, we've got alt text on them. Now we could bump this up a little bit, add like 2, maybe even 3 more sentences on there. So then we're going to go and visit these individually, and we'll see we're just adding and building more and more content, building all these pages out. Boom, right here, got a photo in the background, got alt text on that. We got the city, we got the state, we got these images, we've got these neighborhoods that we serve in this city, we got the zip codes as well. And we're just adding all that geo relevance to these pages. Then we also have this card, or what you can consider it a template or a card, so that all of our location pages interlink to each other so that we ensure that we get a deep crawl depth every single time Google comes by to crawl our pages. So we got all of these, and then also because we do it this way, these images can also have another round of alt text, right? And so we can just slowly build out more and more of all of our content on the website, all of our schema and everything. So across the board, when Google and sees everything and starts to index and starts to understand more about our website, we have so much of this content relevant to not only the area we serve, but the service we provide. It all will help us rank. And so these are all of our location pages. And then this is our blog hub, right? These are just going to be used to all interlink to our money page. It's also going to show Google more of our authority around the topic, right? Because we have so much of this content, so much of this information. We're talking about different things in the content, right? One day we're talking about what to plant after you get a tree stump removed. The next, we're also going to talk about main attractions in the area. Then also on these blogs, we're going to do author schema. Marcus Aurelius wrote this. This is all this information about Marcus Aurelius. Again, here we go. We've got a description, a disambiguous description, and then we also have all of the things he knows about on this page. And so even only visible to us currently, we can see that there's only 1,400 words. When we go to actually view the page stores, and because we have all of this schema and all of this content on the page, there's actually a ton more information for Google to get a better understanding, right? We also got a little FAQ, some FAQ schema on there as well. And again, we got an image, we got some alt text on that. If this was an actual site, I would have way more images. This is AI. I would have way more images, and we would also have way more alt text on this, right? And so we have this attractions page to help us add that geo relevance so Google has a better understanding of the area we serve, right? By talking about these areas, these service attractions in that city, and then linking to our city page, our money page, which is Stump Grinding Portland, Oregon, we're sending all of this authority, all of this relevance, all this geo relevance to that page. So when someone types in stump grinding near me and they are in Portland, Oregon, because we have all of this content on our page, all of this information on our page, Google will know, hey, they serve Portland, Oregon, and we need to rank them there, right? And again, just all of this blog content, all of this stuff on this page to help us rank. Then now, so we're going to build up more and more of this about page, right? Because we want Google to know more about us, about the owner, what he does, what he's an expert at. And so as we start to build out all of this information, Google will get a way better understanding of who we are. Look at all these credentials and memberships about Marcus Aurelius. All of this information. Not only does this help for when potential customers come to view, but it's also all information that we can give Google about us. One thing I wanted to mention is that this author card is also another signal because we put that Marcus Aurelius, the owner, wrote this blog. Google will relate that to him in his knowledge about this topic. And so that is the full guide of how I would rank a stump grinder in Portland, Oregon.